Well, here we are, part 2. So part 1 is setting us up. So all of your objectives, your standards, your skills, your assessment, your accommodations, all of that has to come to life in this second part here. So we have here our attention getter, which is what are you going to say or do to get the student's attention to be focused and ready to learn. Then we're going to get into your plan, which is a step-by-step process of what you're going to do. I like to say here for your plan, you should be as specific as you can so that if a substitute teacher were to come in and pick up your plan, they would know what you were doing. You don't want to just say teach about bias, and unbiased materials. You need to be a little bit clearer. When you're in the actual classroom as an actual teacher, you do not write lesson plans like this. But the reason you don't write lesson plans like this when you're in the classroom is because you've written them all in the undergraduate preparation program. So we have to start thinking things through, and I'm looking for connection and understanding of methodologies. So I don't know as learning how to write a lesson plan, what you plan to do if you just say I'm going to teach them about biases. That is not clear at all, and we'll definitely get a redo from you. So we need to be as clear as we can, as focused as we can, in these learning stages, so that way when you do get to the classroom, you can say, oh, I'm going to lead a discussion on biases, and then you have all of that. We call it pedagogy, which is the information, the knowledge of teaching. You'll have all that pedagogical knowledge, or that knowledge of pedagogy in your head. And we never know it all. We're always learning pedagogical skills. I'm still learning, right? So that's a lifelong quest to get better at this. So we have our attention getter, our plan, we have our terminating statement, a cleanup plan if you have one. How are we going to transition from one activity to the next? You're going to have key questions and concepts about vocabulary. You're going to have application and parent-family community involvement. So let's go up and talk about the attention getter. So with the attention getter, how will you get the children focused? So I said here a pre-established clapping pattern will be used to get the students' attention. So now when we focus, it's important to get our attention, because if we're not attending, we're not learning. So this definitely is determined by a couple of things. The most important thing is the age of your students. So how you might get a preschooler's attention might not be how you'd get an 11th grade, Chem 2 AP class's attention. But we still need to focus. Some teachers like to get very quiet, and they'll say things like, I'm waiting, or are you finished, or I'll begin when it's quiet, right? And that's the student's cues to say, oop, I better focus. Sometimes for younger children, they might have a clapping pattern. So I've seen this, and I've done this a lot, where the teacher might go, and then the students would have to go, and then you might do it again if you don't get all students. And then sometimes it might take 2 or 3 times, and eventually all of your students are clapping back with you, and you say, wonderful, let's begin. So much better than yelling. Notice attention getter is not screaming until they look at you, right? An attention getter is not flicking the lights until they pay attention. An attention getter is not belittling or embarrassing until they look at you. Sometimes I like to watch students who are ready to learn. I might say, oh, look, Rebecca's ready to learn. She's got her feet flat on the floor and her notebook is out. Her pencil is right next to her. I know she's ready. Oh, look, there's Juan. He's ready to learn. Oh, look, there's Stephanie. She's ready to learn. And then by pretty soon, by you start pointing out the students who are ready, everybody else kind of falls in line. And if you have a student who routinely has difficulty getting ready to learn, that might be an indicator that we have some attention issues, or there might be some other issues that are brewing. So that's why it's always good to have a plan on how you're going to get their attention. You might, for the very young children, you might sing a song, you might do a finger play, you might do any number of things, but I need to know what you're going to do here. So you don't want to start off by saying, all right, boys and girls, who wants to learn about biases? That's more of your introduction. That's not really an attention getter. So an attention getter, imagine you've got your classroom, they're all, unwinding from different activities. Nobody's really paying attention as a group. Maybe they're chatting at their tables, or they're just kind of coming in from another class. How are you going to start? How are you going to get them ready to learn? That's your attention getter.